There we go. Hey, 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 hey. We are live on Hits and Heels, y'all. It's Wednesday night. Typical Wednesday night, and it's Hits and Heels. Let me share this because I got, y'all, you know it's my niece. Y'all know this is my niece. I got my niece. Uh-oh. That's not showing us live on here. Hold on. Why are we not live? Oh, there it is. There it is. So y'all know I have my niece, Grace Prince, on. And let me tell you why she's my niece. So she is my niece because her dad is Ron Prince, who is my bestie. We went to school together, grew up in the same neighborhood. And, we've been thick as thieves since he was coaching at K-State when I got back in touch with him. So obviously, I've adopted her as my niece, and this is my first time getting a chance to finally talk to her and meet with her. Grace, welcome to Hits and Heels. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Absolutely. Okay, so just some background, everyone. So Grace is a senior at Loyola in Baltimore. And the first thing we talked about was, Lord have mercy, what happened with this bridge?
Yeah, it's been a crazy week here. Like practices getting canceled. That's right where my community where I row in, and like I see the bridge every single day. It's a part of a skyline that I look at. So it's definitely very sad. Everything that's happened and all the lives lost. Yeah.
It's sad. Okay, guys. So Grace is a D1 athlete, and she's in rowing. Now, we all know that there ain't no black girls in rowing. So, Grace, go ahead and tell us your story on how you got to Loyola as a D1 athlete rowing.
Yeah. So I grew up playing basketball my whole life. That was my sport, basketball and track.
Mine too.
Yep. And so I played basketball all the way up until high school. And I actually didn't make my high school volleyball team. And I was a 2-season athlete. So I was used to that. So I was looking for another sport to do and to condition for basketball. So I had a family friend who, my mom's best friend from high school, his daughter, who's black, also rowed. And she was like, you got to try this out. Like, you got to come with me, just watch one of our practices, see what's up, see if you like it. So I went and I watched her practice, and I realized, wait, I can be outside on beautiful water and watch sunsets and watch sunrises instead of being in a smelly basketball gym.
Right. Okay.
Wait a second. I was like, this is too good to be true.
Okay.
And so I did basketball and rowing for a couple of seasons, and more and more I was wishing I was on the water than basketball, which was weird because that was like my first love. And I just realized that like I kind of wanted to do this more. And eventually I got to a point where I was like, with rowing, if I wanted to take it to the next level, that I kind of had to decide whether I was going to do rowing or basketball. And I stopped growing, so I'm 5'5", and you realize that my days as a 5'5" forward probably wouldn't get me to the D1
so level. You would have to switch over to a point guard.
Yep. And so, but my ball handling skills weren't that great.
Okay.
And so I wanted to try something new, and I knew I wanted to play college sports. And so I tried rowing, and I just fell in love with it. And I loved visiting all the pretty water and all the places. And so I was going through the recruitment process for rowing and everything. And I found at one of the summer races, they had a college fair. And so where I got to meet so many different coaches, and I met my coach and instantly learned about Loyola. I didn't know much about it before. My brother had applied. That's all I knew. And I was going down to visit, and actually my brothers were I have an older brother who's about 13 months older than me, and he was doing all of his football camps. And so I guess this was my junior year or going into junior year, and he was doing all of his football camps and all those at different colleges. And so we were driving down, and I was like, Mom, can we stop at Loyola? I just want to see what this school looks like. And I walked, and I instantly felt like just this like feeling like I hadn't felt in any other schools, where I was like, wait, I could see myself here. There was no students, and I could see myself here. And I met my coach, and I fell in love with the program and went on official and committed. And that's pretty much the story. So of how I got to Loyola. But it is special because I grew up in a football family with my dad being a football coach and three brothers playing D1 football to go to a school that has no football.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I kind of just football control was the reason that I moved so much around growing up, and my entire life was football, and I love football. Don't get me wrong, but I wanted to have an experience where I wasn't my brother's little sister, or that that I wasn't Ron Prince's daughter, and be able to forge my own path where football wasn't the sport that like controlled all at the school.
Right.
So to be able to forge my own identity and as an athlete, and make my own legacy, I guess. And so, yeah.
I love it. Oh, you know, I love it. So what did you, so you were forward in basketball. What events did you do in track?
I did the 400. I did
Woo,
shot put.
You a beast.
400 shot put and long jump.
You a beast.
Yeah.
The 400 is a beast.
Yeah, and so I did all the AAU circuit growing up. I was the AAU track, or like the cross country, or what is it? Shot put and long jump were my biggest or my most successful events. Shot put in particular. So I grew up traveling to Houston, New Orleans with my mom in the hot summers for the nationals, and traveling places for basketball. That's what I grew up on. And I had no clue what rowing was until I moved to New York when I was in middle school. I'd never even heard of it. So if you had told myself like when I was 10 years old that I would be a Division I rower, I would not have believed it. Yeah.
There's no, but at least you were in an area, because we don't have it here.
Yeah.
Or if we do, I don't know about it. I haven't heard about it. But at least you were in an area where it had it, and you were able to kind of, just kind of find your way into it. So how is it being one of the only Black girls in rowing?
Yeah.
Has that been, what type of adversity have you gone through with it?
Yeah, it was interesting because growing up playing basketball, like you're never the only Black girl.
You're never the only one.
It's like you never really think about that.
Right.
And I went to a really diverse elementary school and middle school. So it was one of the first times that I was really in a place where it wasn't as diverse.
Mm-hmm.
My high school team was great, though. I don't want to like put out any negatives of my high school team. Like they treated me wonderfully. But it is like, even though they treat you nicely, there is times where you feel like that's just not what my experience was. And my team was in a very predominantly Jewish area as well. And so we would have practice off for Jewish holidays, and that was more of a cultural difference than the racial as much. But it is hard when like your teams get like, they all like look the same and you feel like you stick out, or the hyper analyzing of, are other people thinking this? If I belong, or not seeing as many people who look like you at the Olympics, or having professional idols to look up to. And so even with the recruitment process, that was the biggest part of like the adversity was when going through the recruitment process, I knew I wanted to be on a team that had more diversity. And so I would look at the college rosters, and I would look at those profile pictures and see the headshots and be like, okay, this team has this many Black girls. This team has this many Hispanic girls. And it influenced my decision. And my team at Loyola and my coach really valued diversity and made that
That's huge.
And was not afraid to talk about it as well. Because I asked her, I was like, so what is the diversity like on campus, in athletics? And so that was a very, that's what also drew me to Loyola as well.
Oh, good. Yeah. So, no, I'm still tripping on this. I'm still tripping on this no football. Like, I don't even know how a college even exists with no football. Because when COVID went through, there was only like 3 schools in the whole nation. If they would have shut down football, that would have been able to survive without football.
Yeah.
every other school would have
Yeah.
went away, right? And so I'm still tripping on this no football at Loyola Baltimore. Oh
Yeah.
Lord have
Well, being
mercy.
in Maryland, lacrosse reigns king here. It's lacrosse
Lacrosse. So
country.
it's lacrosse.
Yeah, so our women's
Okay.
lacrosse team and our men's team is fantastic. Like our
Okay.
women, they're ranked top 5 in the country right now.
Get out
In
of here.
lacrosse. Yeah.
The men and the
And
women.
they are one of 2 teams that are undefeated right now in the country and for women. And so it's very exciting watching them play. And that it kind of gives that same not same but similar experience watching them play at our stadium and having game days and getting all
So you
excited.
still kind of get a similar experience of football because you're still in the stadium and because they still play on the same type of football field. I mean, the football field and the lacrosse field is similar.
Very similar.
They're pretty similar.
And going to soccer games and everyone here supports the Ravens die hard, and so I've become a Ravens fan in my time in Baltimore. And
how can you not be a Ravens fan living in
and
Baltimore?
it was
Oh
so
my
exciting
God.
this past season, and so it felt like your own
Yes.
team. Like I went to some games and would be able to go and cheer them on, and everyone in Baltimore gets so excited for the Ravens. So
I bet they do.
And especially on my dad with him not coaching. My favorite football team was always my dad's team, whatever
your team is either, yeah.
And so I wanted to
you've had a million teams.
Oh, a million teams, the number one bandwagon.
Right.
But yeah, and so also part of my college process, I wanted to go to a school or a team that had a college or had a professional team to follow. If it wasn't going to be
wow. And why was that important to you? Is it because of how you grew up?
Yeah, that I love the NFL and I love college sports and college football. I kind of wanted to step away from in case my dad ever wanted to coach at my school. I could have that wouldn't be in a. It
wasn't an option, right?
Yeah. But no, and so the Ravens. It was it's a great team to follow, and it's been so exciting and being able to rally around them just as much. So yeah.
So let me go back to this. So how many schools on your list were available that didn't have a football program where your dad couldn't go there to coach?
I think this was like one of 2.
Was that so there was only 2
It was like one of the only schools. Yes, I looked at some other schools around like the same size as Loyola. As a 5'5" rower, also there wasn't as many opportunities for like my height limiting as well.
Oh, there's a height limit?
Or most rowers tend to be 5'8" or taller.
Really?
Yeah, so you can get more length in the boat and you can get your oar out further.
More leverage with your legs.
More leverage. And so and so my school did not have a height or does not have a height limit. So
did not have a height limit.
So it makes it able for a lot of people who are shorter to be able to still play college athletics. So yeah. I've
my
been very fortunate for my experience here.
Yeah, Loyola has been a blessing for you.
It has.
All around. Okay, so you're majoring in engineering.
Yes. And that was also
how have you been able to manage?
Yeah.
And you are dual.
Yes.
Girl, so how are you managing all of that and being a D1 athlete?
Yeah, so when looking at schools, I talked to coaches. I knew going in that I wanted to do engineering, and I didn't want to go to a school where they were going to make me change my major because at the end of the day, I'm there to go and get an education.
Absolutely.
And if I can't get the degree that I want, what's the point of
you would have to go to someplace else? Yes.
Yeah.
Because I've known some people that have done that. They wanted to play, but they settled for playing as opposed to going based off of what they wanted to major in. Yeah. And then they ended up transferring anyway. Yeah. So
it has it hasn't been easy. I'm not gonna say that it's been a walk in the park, but it's definitely been worth it and the hard work. And I think that the skills that you learn as an athlete can transfer over into that, being able to manage it all.
The level of discipline.
Yeah, with time management and the balance that you have to find in your life. And like, I would love to go out and binge watch TV all night, but I got to go and write a paper. I got to do a project or design something instead. But I love it, and it's been my school as well. My program is very supportive of athletics, and we have a lot of athletes in engineering, and so our professors make sure that, like, especially with rowing being an early morning sport, I miss all those 9 a.m. or 8 a.m.s, and 9 a.m.s are hard for me to take, or with certain practice scheduling. But the professors are super accommodating with practice times, and me coming to class all wet from coming from practice in my practice clothes, that they're very supportive of all of that. So
Okay.
yeah.
Most of the time it's gotta be cold. So are you just acclimated to the cold weather? Because I know you did high school in, let me see, I know he was in Indianapolis, I know he was in Detroit, I know so you've been in some cold weather places. And I know your mom was in New York, and y'all went to school in New York. So do you have like a wetsuit or something that you wear, or what is your attire?
It's weird, especially being early in the morning. Like, you have to, and with rowing, you can't wear like baggy clothes, or else they'll get stuck in your seat when the seat moves. So a lot of people don't know that the seat moves in rowing.
The seat moves? Okay.
Yes. So is
it like being on like a rower when you're at the gym?
Very similar.
Okay.
And so your feet are strapped in, and your seat moves forward and back, and you press. So it's almost like you're doing like a trap bar deadlift. That's how the best way to describe rowing and like a weightlifting motion.
So you're strong.
It's all legs. People like to think it's all back and arms. It's definitely
all
back
legs.
and arms. It's your core and your legs.
Okay.
And so you have to be able to move, and you have to be able to rotate, and you have to be able to remain composure. So a lot of thin warm layers. So the Under Armour Techs are the go-to. Leggings on leggings, wool socks, wearing like 3 or 4 pairs of socks, and making sure you stay warm. You can't wear gloves. So I put Vaseline on like the tops of my hands to try to stay warm on my cheeks.
You probably have to put them on your face too.
Yeah.
Vaseline on your face. But that's a football.
Because of the wind.
That's what they do in football.
Keep the sweat in. Like last weekend we had a race, and it was awful. I think it might have been the worst weather I've had in all my 8 years of rowing. It was so cold and so wet. I came off the bus with 2 full trash bags full of wet clothes that I just brought immediately to the laundry, and was like, just immediately put it in there. But as many days that there are, it's cold and wet. There's just as many days where you see the most beautiful sunrises. You can even see like,
oh wow,
like that's just a normal occurrence for us. And
okay, so what time are your, what do they call them? What are your races? What time are races?
So our daily practices are at 6:15. Got to be at the bus at 6:15. So in the morning. So every morning I wake up at 5:30.
There ain't no whole lot of black, but no, because I can't say that, because even if basketball, you're getting up at practice at that time. You are.
But getting out and getting on a cold water is hard.
It's something totally different.
And then for races like this weekend, for our race to be able to leave, we have to be on the bus at 5 a.m.
Okay, because where are you guys going this weekend?
St. Mary's College. We're reversing. It's our first time racing them. Want to do a Maryland school race, and so reversing them. They're in Southern Maryland. Last weekend we had a Jesuit invitational with Jesuit schools. So it was like Boston College was there, Fairfield. It was Holy Cross. A lot of schools like that.
Okay, so you guys are in the Patriot League. So who all is in the Patriot League? I don't know why I didn't look that up.
Yeah, for rowing, it's Navy, Bucknell, BU, Lehigh, Lafayette, Holy Cross. I'm on the Patriot League SAAC, so I really should know. But for rowing, it's a little different.
Okay.
But yeah, I think there's and MIT is with us for rowing, and Georgetown.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
okay. Yeah. One of my nephews here went to Lehigh and played football at Lehigh.
Oh wow. Yeah.
It's because it's in Pennsylvania, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So Baltimore. What else is close to what? I'm not looking at a map. So what else
Yeah.
are you close to in Baltimore?
So we're about walking distance from Johns Hopkins.
Mm.
And we're also walking distance, or a little bit more than walking distance, but about a 5-minute ride to Morgan State as well.
Okay.
So
The
between
HBCU.
Morgan, yes, Morgan
Mm-hmm.
State, Johns Hopkins, us, Coppin State, another HBCU.
Mm-hmm.
We have Notre Dame, Mount St. Mary's, a bunch of other. I think there are 14 colleges and universities in
In Baltimore?
In Baltimore.
Oh wow.
So it's a lot of young people. So it's been a
Okay.
great place to go to college, and a lot of the stereotypes of Baltimore and what you may think of it. And
They said it's so good.
I have not watched The Wire. I will watch that when I graduate.
Yeah, don't watch it.
But I've had a wonderful experience here, and they're great people. And the people here care so much about Baltimore and about the state of Maryland,
And
unlike
especially
anywhere else I've been. Like,
really.
I have lived in
You've
Kansas,
lived in a million places.
New York, all these places. And even New Yorkers are passionate about being from New York, but they turn on each other a little. People in Baltimore, they rally behind that flag like no, I've never seen before. And it's like you eventually you think, oh, you come in here, oh, I'm never gonna get anything with that hideous flag on it. And then by the end, you're a fan. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Gotcha. What's up, Presto's Review? That's one of my players. He played for me. I coach football.
Yes.
Okay. He was one of my players in middle school. And then my girl, Sports Sense, was on. Cynthia. She actually has her own podcast called Sports Sense, and she had me as a guest on her podcast. Thank y'all for being on. So let's talk about the whole revenue generating. Like what would you recommend? Are there any other sports that you would recommend that are what we call them, non-revenue generating or whatever, that Black girls probably would never think about doing, but maybe should consider? Are there any other ones that you've come across that you like, oh, I wouldn't have thought of that, just in your experience with traveling with your dad or just being there?
I would say like a sport that I know does not have enough diversity is swimming. That both being water sports, that the representation is just not there, and it's needed, and it's
girl, because we ain't trying to get our hair wet.
But it's needed and it's wanted,
but it's needed, and we need more diversity in it.
Yes, and a lot of the programs and a lot of coaches, I go to a lot of the head coaches meetings at Loyola, and they want that diversity, but there just isn't the high school athletes that are
participating across the nation
that aren't and so it needs to I really believe it needs to start at the high school level, and that's
absolutely.
But with rowing, it's unique that we really support walk-ons, and walking on to a rowing team is a very common thing, and that a lot of ex-high school athletes turn to rowing as a way to still play a sport in college, which is a great opportunity. And so how athleticism transfers over.
Okay. How hard is it to learn rowing? How long did it take you to, so because you're in basketball shape or you're in track shape, but rowing shape has got to be definitely different. So how long did it take you to get in rowing shape? Was it hard?
Rowing, I like to say it's easy to start and easy to learn, hard to master.
What do you mean that?
So
explain.
That the time doesn't necessarily matter of like when you started versus like people who started in high school versus college, that it's really just about how quickly you can pick it up and how you can learn it. But it's really hard because it's a lot of very little movements, and it's so dependent on your team, and each boat feels differently with different people because the set. And so you all have to work together to mimic each other's movements perfectly. And I don't think any rower would ever say that they have mastered rowing. I don't think barely anyone would say that.
Okay.
There's still things you can improve on and that you can learn and become better at. So that's what I really like about the sport, that like doesn't feel stale, like that you always can like improve. And there's always like, especially on the erg and the rowing machine, that we do a lot of workouts on there, and that you have those numbers that you have quantifiable, like,
that
things of your
have.
you have a direct control over.
Okay.
No one is preventing you from being able to hit your best. It's only you. The way you recover, the way you train, the way you do, whatever you do, it's all based on your performance. And that's the unique thing about rowing, or like, rowing versus basketball, is that, like, you could verse a team, and the refs could get involved, and there's some bad calls, or the clock is wrong or something. But on the water, it's really just you and the boat. And yeah, there are other teams that you're racing against, but it's really you and your self-determination and the way you can work with your teammates. It's the ultimate team sport. So, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Without us going together, we wouldn't go anywhere. So
how many are in a boat?
So there's two. So in NCAA rowing, we race 2 8s and a 4. That's how championships work.
What do you mean 2 8s and a 4?
So
I don't understand.
2 8 rowers boats. So with 8 rowers and a coxswain, the person who yells at us and steers. And then
there's somebody up front that yells at you and steers with like a little megaphone or something.
Or there's a microphone or some type of microphone that has speakers in the boat.
Oh, okay. And there's 8 of y'all.
There's 8 of us.
Oh my God. So 8 of y'all have to be in sync?
Perfect time with your handle heights, whether you're going up and down, and your force and pulling the same and being the exact same timing. Like, when I tell you, like, you have to do everything together. If you watch videos and you watch the Olympics, it looks so easy. They make it look so easy. But
they do make it look easy, because I've seen it in the Olympics.
It's hard to get to that point and get your blade into the water at the same time. And it's taught me so much about working with others and being able to read each other's body language. And the skills that I've learned from this sport have been like unlike any other.
Especially with you going into engineering, because we know you're gonna have to build this new bridge in Baltimore. They're gonna hire you, because Lord knows that who's gonna do it.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. So, okay, so, oh my God, I'm so intrigued about learning about the rowing, and I'm glad that you also talked about the just swimming as another one of those non-revenue generating sports, because actually I have a swimmer coming on in 3 weeks, but she's of course she's not Black, right? So I can't wait to ask her some of those questions about the diversity. So definitely thank you for that information.
I have a friend who swims at Howard, and Howard swimming team, who's on the Howard swimming and diving team, that I went to high school with, and watching them, and like being one of the few swimming and diving teams at an HBCU, is an incredible showcase of Black people in swimming and those sports that people can do, and that Black people can be great at anything if we if we're exposed to it. Yeah. And that it's all about the exposure, and it's hard to get involved in sports like swimming and rowing, especially if you don't know anybody, you've never heard of it, or you don't know what the steps are to join it. That's
especially if you don't have it in your community.
Yeah. If you don't have it in your community, how are you supposed to know?
How are you supposed to know?
I didn't even know that actually in Indiana, where I had lived before I moving to New York, that rowing was in my community. They hosted the NCAA Big Ten championships there. And I didn't even know that growing up there that it would even happen. And a girl I went to school with here was from a rowing team there. And so I didn't even know that. So sometimes it might exist.
Sometimes it might be in your community, but you're just not exposed.
Or you wouldn't even think. You're just, and that the basketball and the track and the volleyball.
They take up so much.
And that those sports are great, and I love them. And I could not imagine my like childhood and my like development without those sports. But a lot of those things that you learn in those sports can be transferred over to rowing. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I love it. So So I'm being followed by the Gridiron Beauty. So they do a lot of commentary about specifically about women's tackle football, because again,
Wow.
women's tackle football is unheard of as
Yeah.
well.
That's
Matter of
awesome.
fact, let me tell you, there's a team in Baltimore. Did you know
Oh,
there's a women's tackle football team in Baltimore? We're getting ready to start our league April the 27th. I think is our league. So I'm gonna look online,
yeah.
see if I can find their schedule, because their games should be on Saturday evening.
Yeah.
So, and you usually row in the mornings, right?
Yeah, well, for our races,
If
we're gone.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah.
I would
If
love
you're not
I'd love
gone and they're home, I'm
no,
just gonna
that's
give you their schedule, because we
no,
go
you
into
should.
through
That's
June.
amazing. My dad has a friend who coached female high school football. And that
They're called the
those were
Baltimore
nice.
Nighthawks.
That's so
Baltimore
cool.
Nighthawks. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's amazing, and I support
Yeah.
women in
Matter of
male
fact, they made it to the D. I think they're D2. I think they made it to the D2 championship last year.
Wow.
I think against New York, against the New York team, I believe. Yeah. So
That's so
good.
cool.
Yeah. Oh, she said, prayers. She said you're very articulate, and prayers to Baltimore. And thank you for the concert. Who else is this? She said, but we'll get the word out. Oh yeah, we'll definitely get the word out about the women's tackle football.
Oh, that's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's cool. So yeah, you definitely have to go.
Yeah.
I'll find the schedule, or we'll find the schedule.
I'm moving to DC after graduation, so Washington.
Oh, are you moving to DC after graduation?
Yeah,
Okay, so they have the DC Divas. So
yeah.
make sure. Okay, and I know one of the coaches on that team, Coach Pat. So yeah, you definitely gotta.
I gotta check that out.
You gotta check that out. Matter of fact, you might want to play.
Maybe I'm looking for my.
Hey, sister,
my
you couldn't play all these years, and all your brothers got all the fun with having to play. Maybe
Well,
you get to play in your afterlife.
I may not have been on a team, but I was. I know how to play.
I know you know how to play, and you probably can coach
have,
the game.
Yeah,
And even if you don't play, I know you can coach it, because I know you've been on the sideline with your dad.
Yeah.
So the DC Divas might need some, because we need more female coaches in our league. So that might be something that you might want to pick up as a hobby, since you've grown up in it. And I guarantee you probably know more than anybody else.
One of my favorite memories was my dad would take me to all of his camps. And he'd put me out there against all the boys, and it would just be boys and then me at these university camps. And he would love to just sit there and watch, and I would just run laps on the guys and beat them in all the drills. So that sounds fun.
That's funny. So, there's also the Washington Prodigy and the WNFC. So we have a couple of women's leagues, and there's a Washington Prodigy, and then there's the DC Divas in my league that are in DC. So you got two teams in DC when you go to DC. So that'll be fun for you. I can't wait to hear the story. I hope you coach. If you don't play, at least coach, because I know you could be an offense coordinator. I already know you can.
Follow my
what side of the ball do you like better?
Offense. But recently, my younger brother played defense. He just switched to being a long snapper. But watching defense and watching from his side of things was super interesting recently. But grew up just everything's offense. Gotta give love to the O-line.
Right. You gotta give love to the O-line every time. Every time. So I coach running back. So I'm always make sure you're giving the O-line. The only reason why you're able to get through this hole is because of the O-line blocking. So make sure you give the O-line their love. So absolutely. That's so cool. So so tell me about growing up with three brothers so you have all four of y'all are D1 players.
Yes.
What was that like? Tell me what was that like. Tell me what was that childhood like. Like, I don't know how the heck your mama probably managed getting all y'all to games and different sports. And okay, were they like your dad? Did they do wrestling when you were playing basketball, or did they play basketball as well?
They play basketball. We were basketball, football.
Basketball, football.
Yeah. But no, my mom's amazing in managing all of our schedules, and it takes a village though. It takes a community. So a lot of people who helped, and we would not be here without them helping along the way, and carpooling and teammates. But it's amazing. Yeah, no, it was fun because we're all so close in age. We're all within a 5-year gap.
Yeah, y'all are all like back to back.
And so it's pretty fun because like we would all be like very similar ages, very similar development. So playing 2-on-2 basketball growing up was some of my favorite times, and definitely like just being surrounded by sports and wanting to be a part of that world, and growing up in college athletics definitely inspired me to want to become a Division I athlete. So
it did. So it didn't.
Yeah.
So so when did you know you wanted to be a D1 athlete?
I think my whole life. Like I just always knew that I wanted to.
Because it was just a part of your life.
Yeah, it was just a part of my life. It's all I really knew.
That's all you knew.
All I know is that and the amazing opportunities it provides for people, and to be a part of a team, to be part of something bigger, and the skills that you learn from it, even from a young age. I think at any opportunity, any level that people get the opportunity to play sports, I think that people should.
I do too.
I think it's and play as many sports and try as many different things, and not just focus on one. I think playing.
I agree.
I think
more coaches like multi-level sport, multi-sport players.
Yeah,
because you're more diverse. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, wait until you get into the corporate world. You're gonna see a huge difference between people, especially people that are in like a supervisory role. You're gonna tell the difference of whether or not they played a sport or not, because you're gonna want to hit them dead in their throat. Because their mindset is just so like you're going to be like where is the level of common sense? Like you're going to feel like that they have no common sense. But when you do a deep dive and be like, did you play a sport? Like when you get to one of those questions and somebody just has you perplexed, ask them if they played a sport, and I guarantee you they're going to say no. Yeah. Because they missed out on everything that you just talked about. They missed out on a set of skills that sports teaches you that you don't learn by not playing a sport, especially being a team player.
Agreed. I would also work at school, my school's career center. So I have a part-time job doing that, and with partnering. I
don't know how you're doing all this.
And partnering with my being SAAC president, I decided to bring it together, and we had yes, definitely all those skills, but we had an event where I talked about marketing yourself as an athlete in the workforce and all the skills that are transferable. And a lot of athletes don't get the chance to do internships because of their sports, or don't get to have that experience, other outside experiences or extracurriculars. But how can you maximize your athletic experience on resumes and in interviews and help you get that job? Because a lot of people sometimes don't even think to put it on the resume or to highlight that is a skill set that they have. So,
I mean, if you're a captain of a team on any team, you have team meetings, you strategize, you go over, whatever we need to do for that day. We make adjustments. There's so many things that you do that you can put on a resume, and it doesn't look like you just talked about playing basketball or rowing or swimming or being on a team, but it definitely looks like, but you were a part of a team. Yes. Me and my team did this. Me and my team, we had after action reports. Of course, we watched film.
Yeah.
We watched film and had action. So yes, there's so many transferable things. So what else are you doing? So, oh my God. So I done missed out. You're the SAAC. And what else?
So I am the president of Student Athlete Advisory Committee on Loyola.
What is that? What do you do with that?
So I am president of all the student athletes on campus. Yeah.
Look at you.
So I'm the representative of all of us to the Patriot League. So whenever the league has questions about what the student athletes at Loyola think, I represent that body of students. I also plan events for the school. Like I said last weekend, planning that event, we had an injured athlete mental health panel about how being injured can affect your mental health.
Yes.
Fighting for resources. What are the needs? Like, what are the teams thinking? A lot of times my athletic director or administrators will ask me, what do the student athletes need? And so I have a group that we have three representatives from each team that come to meetings twice a week, every other week, and we come together and talk about these things. Or how can we get more athletes on different teams to get to know each other? So building a lot of inter-team unity and excitement for other sports and hyping each other up, and not just supporting our own sports but each other. And then I also serve on that Patriot League SAAC board, where we make decisions about when the NCAA and Division I SAAC asks us questions about what does the Patriot League SAAC believe when it comes to, let's say, tournaments, like what the tournament length and what should the duration be between games. Or they'll ask us about even something simple as like championship gifts, or how can the Patriot League promote diversity, equity, and inclusion? They ask us on those things. So it's a lot of doing that and serving on boards and hosting meetings and events and managing a group of people, which has been an amazing opportunity. And then I also serve on the board for Student Athletes for Social Justice at my school, and we work on that. We've been able to get recycling at our athletic facilities, which was something we didn't have before. That's
huge, you would think.
Yeah, it was a huge thing that we didn't have it at our lacrosse stadium. Promoting a diversity within athletics, and it's really focused within us. And we hosted an event called there's a movie called The Loyola Project, or a documentary about Loyola Chicago's basketball team, their historic basketball team. And is
it finished? Is it on YouTube? What's it on?
It's on Peacock, I think.
It's on Peacock? What's it called?
What is it? Let me see. The Loyola Project.
It's called the Loyola Project?
Loyola Project. It's on Pluto TV, and it's on Amazon Prime and Paramount Plus.
Okay, cool.
But it's about Loyola Chicago's basketball team and their tournament win. And we had the narrator of the story who just graduated from there. His sister was a tennis player on our team or at our school. And so we were able to have people from the film come, and we had alums come. So that was a great event, combining athletics and talks about like racial injustice and diversity in athletics. I also serve on the Green and Gray Society at my school, which is not through athletics, but it's the president of the university's board of students, where he comes to us and asks us it's an advisory role where we are part of the Department of Advancement, where they ask us, what are the major problems on campus? What do we need to know? Very similar to the Patriot League role, but more across student body and not just within athletics. And what is the relationships on school when big events happen culturally? How are the students responding? What do we need to be doing? And sometimes they ask us, and we meet with members in the community to best represent the student body's wants and needs. And then I also, like I said, I work in the school's career center as well, and help students out with resumes and cover letters and finding internships for them. I do a number of things. I try to think of it all.
I don't know how in the heck you're doing all of this, and you're double majoring in engineering.
Yeah.
And you're a D1 athlete. I'm so impressed. I'm so proud of you, niece.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
So let me go back to what you said. So tell me, what are some of the top things that athletes are feeling like they need or want? Like, what are their biggest needs right now?
A lot of it has been post-COVID transition stuff. I think it was very hard for athletes during COVID. I was in that freshman COVID class that missed their first season of athletics due to COVID. And there was a period of almost a year where athletes were training with teams. And now coming back into getting in that training and stuff, and getting into college and having all these stressors, that going from a dead stop to this, needing mental health support. And I think a lot of it is just having an ear to listen. It's really just that. It's feeling like your voice is heard and having someone to listen. I think increasing nutrition and talking about nutrition across campuses. I think student athletes really need that support of how do I feel my body? It used to be like, I know my dad used to talks about being a college athlete where they would just go to the dining hall and shove their faces with as much food as possible, and they didn't really necessarily back then think about exactly
about eating healthy.
Yeah, how can food
and what that's going to look like in for your future?
Yeah, how can food take me to the next level, and how to have a healthy relationship with food? I think as athletes, that's something that a lot of people struggle with. And also, like again, like that time management, learning how to time manage, like a lot of these skills of like how to manage your classes. How do I find resources for that? How do I manage being a dual major in engineering and being a Division I athlete? Like, it's hard.
And being on 4 different boards.
Yes, like being able to manage all these things. And how do I do that with with academics as well? And the student, being the student and the athlete, and finding balance between that all. How to manage friendships as well, and relationships with others. And it's a lot of pressures that the pressure that student athletes are put under, and pressure that everyone can that is very you can manage, as long as
a lot of people can't. A lot of people can't management. How are you able to manage everything that you're doing, and you're not around your brothers, you're not around your mom, you're not around your dad, like, because they're not in Baltimore. You're away from home. You're away from all of them. So let me see. Where's Deuce?
Florida.
Deuce is in Florida. Your 2 other brothers are in Terre Haute because they're at Indiana State. Yeah. Your mom's in New York. Your dad's in Indianapolis. Your stepmom's in Indianapolis. So you're by yourself.
Yes and no. Yes and no.
Or did you want the distance?
No, it's my parents have encouraged me to seek out the best opportunities.
Absolutely.
And that wherever the best opportunity is, where I got to go. And then you just make the most of it. And that moving around a lot as a kid, I think also taught this. That,
you know what? I think that does too. Because we were a military brats, and I think that helped too.
Yeah, yes. And that moving from place to place, that I still have a lot of very close friends that from Kansas, Indiana, places along the way, and Virginia, that I still keep in contact with, and some I haven't seen in 10 years. And that's half my life. We met when we were 10, and I still talk and keep in touch with them. And that
thank goodness for social media.
And that love and relationships don't, like, the distance doesn't matter if you love someone, and that you're both putting the effort in. And my brothers and I, we talk all the time, and my dad is very active in the family group chat, and texting. And that, like,
and now that he has the time, because so now you get to fall in love with your dad all over again because you have a different dad.
Yeah, and he's coming out in a month to watch my races and spend a weekend out with me. And I'm excited, and it's so great. Like, I get to see my family almost more in some ways, but the independence, like everything they've taught me, I'm transferring into being independent now, and that they're so supportive of that. And that, again, we don't need to all be in the same physical space. Know that we still love each other, and that
Absolutely.
Love and that family support is there, and that when I need them, that they're there for me.
They're there. Mm-hmm.
They're there for me.
Family's everything. Everything. Absolutely everything. Absolutely everything. Yeah, everybody. He's saying. Everybody's so impressed with. I'm so impressed with you. I'm so proud of you. You have no idea. I am so super proud of you. You are absolutely amazing. I am so impressed with how you, because let me tell you something. I'm working a job. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm coaching 2 football teams. I'm coaching track. I'm on the board of Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame. I mean, when I tell you, I am spent on a regular basis. Oh, and I host a podcast.
Yeah.
When I tell you, I am spent. I don't know. It's tough. So the fact that you're going to school and you're participating as a D1 athlete is huge, and you're still doing all of that is very, very impressive that you're able to manage all of that. It is, but it's also, so I can't wait. Okay, so you're moving to DC when school is out. Okay, so my first cousin works at the White House.
Wow.
So I got to make sure that you
that's on my list of things I want to go and see. I want to go and
yes.
see
So she works at the White House. She's
Wow.
a federal agent at the White House. So I have to make sure that you are connected with her.
Yeah. I want to say one more thing.
There's like 2 or 3 people that your dad and I went to school with that are in DC that you need to be connected with. So we'll make sure you have their numbers too. Matter of fact, it's about 4 or 5 people that we went to school with that are in DC. So you'll be in good hands when you're in DC. So why did you choose DC?
A lot of opportunities. I interned there last summer and I loved it. The combination of being able to see such historical spots while also like the vibrant areas, and there's a lot of opportunities for engineering as well. So yeah. My mom went to Georgetown, and so it was very nice. We went apartment shopping and was looking around, and she was able to show me her old stomping grounds. So that was cool to see as well.
Okay, yeah. So and then now you're gonna become a Washington Commander.
I don't know about that.
You gonna stay a Ravens fan?
I think I'm a Ravens girl through and through now.
Okay.
So, but with I like going before what you said about how do you manage it all. I was just talking to my dad actually about today about how pressure is a privilege, and about Billie Jean King and how she said that, and that I just feel fortunate to be able to do all these things and represent these people, and that it's a privilege, and that it won't be forever, and to enjoy these times while it lasts, and that it's hectic now, but like in 2 months, it's sad to think like today. I've been saying like today's.
Oh my God! When is graduation?
May 18th. And so this is the last.
When is your last race?
May 17th is our championships.
Where's your championship at?
I think it's in New Jersey on the Cooper River.
Okay.
But that this
2
is the last
away, and this will all be done. You'll be transitioning.
This is the last March 27th that I get to be a D1 athlete. That's how I'm viewing it. Like this is the last day I'm going to be in these shoes. And so I'm just going to enjoy every day that I have it, and that it won't be forever. And so to enjoy these times and enjoy these moments, and that it's stressful, and especially for young athletes that you may see it seems long and hard and stressful, but just remember that you only have 4 March 27th of being a Division I or any athlete left maybe, and so to enjoy it. So how do you feel, because you're not there yet? So how do you feel about the fact that you won't be participating as an athlete besides when you get to DC and you become a football player? I think
your daddy gonna kill me.
Yeah, I think that once you're an athlete, you're always an athlete. It's a mindset.
Always an athlete.
That like even if you're not like,
but it's not your identity.
It's not who I am, but it's a big part of what has shaped me to be who I am. And that I will always continue athletics in some way or another. I know if I do play intramural volleyball as well at my school on the side with my engineering friends, we all play intramural volleyball, and that has been some of the best memories. And that I can't wait to play intramural volleyball after college. and then I will be rowing again. And we do alumni races where alumni come back, and there's two races in the year that you can come back and race. I'm going to be in those boats. That I'm going to be in those shoes, and I'm very excited for all of that. And that to discover who I am, not within this system, but to be thankful for everything it's taught me. And I'm very excited. I'm excited to graduate. It'll be sad, but I'm also very excited for this next chapter.
I can't wait. I am so proud of you. You are this has become one of my top favorite podcasts because of everything that you brought to the table today was absolutely amazing. And it was absolutely needed. Just the perspective that you brought from a Black girl, from a Black D1 athlete in a non-revenue sport. And that you can do everything that you want to do. I think sometimes, we put on a super girl cape and we think that we can't do it all, but we can manage. You just have to have the faith and just be able to figure out how to manage it all and do what you want to do. So don't you ever settle with not doing what you want to do. If you got 10 things you want to do, just figure out how to get them all done. Yeah. And you've done that. I mean, you're a perfect example of doing that. Grace, thank you so much for being on. I don't want to get off because you have, I'm like, oh my God, what else can we talk about? Because it was such a great conversation today. I thank you so much. You brought so much to the table. And I hope that there are some sports parents that have daughters that can see you as an inspiration, because you definitely inspired me and helped me to be able to be like, well, okay, I'm not doing too much, because I keep telling myself that I'm doing too much. Well, no, I'm not doing too much. I'm doing what I want to do.
Yeah, you get to do.
I'm doing what I want to do.
Yeah, and if you don't enjoy it, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Absolutely, that's it. If you don't like what you're doing, don't do it. Yeah. Absolutely, that's it. So so good luck with your new job.
Thank you.
Good luck with adulting. I'm gonna tell you this right now. You're gonna absolutely hate adulting. It is so overrated. But other than that, you're gonna enjoy being able to call your mom and your dad and your stepmom and your brothers, and you have a great support system. You got Aunt Terry in Kentucky, and we're gonna connect you with everybody in DC so that you have a support system in DC, because that's what we do. That's what we do as family, right? And I'm so proud of you. I might be calling you myself to maybe talk to my team, and matter of fact, I'm gonna record this and probably put it in my group team for my women's football team. Yeah. Just so that they could be inspired, because they have some daughters that are coming up. But I'm definitely gonna be reposting. I sent you the link on YouTube, so you can send everybody a little link on YouTube. This was a great interview, and everybody could just see how wonderful you are. Was this your first podcast?
Yes, it was.
And you did a great job. So I'm telling you right now, everybody else is going to be calling you now. So don't be mad when everybody else is calling you to be on their podcast, because you totally just knocked it out the park today.
No, this was fun. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. No, thank you. Thank you. So everybody, thank y'all for Hitsania Gridiron Beauties. Thank you, Cynthia Coleman. Thank you for tuning in. I can't see who else is. There's other people on here, but I can't see them. Preston, thank you for being on. If I missed anybody, there was somebody else that was on. I don't remember who it was. Kevin Watson, thank you for being on. So just go to Hits and Heels on YouTube. And you can please subscribe, because I don't never go to YouTube. I don't have a lot of subscribers there because everybody watches on Facebook. So always go ahead and share this. If anybody wants to be, he said my two favorite athletes. If anybody wants to, is your dad. He finally did come on. Anybody wants to be a guest, just hit me up. Because I'm always loving to hear everybody's story. Everybody has a story, and everybody has a way to inspire. So y'all know this is a safe place. I don't do any negativity. I don't do any politics. We don't do any bashing. You see, we didn't bash any, I'm a Cowboys fan, so we don't bash any other teams or anything like that, but we do love the Ravens. I'm not going to lie. We love the Ravens. I love the Ravens. I absolutely love the Ravens. I love Lamar. Well, Lamar Jackson went to Louisville, so I live in Kentucky. So, we love Lamar Jackson. Yeah. But anyway, Coach Prince, thank you for allowing my niece, giving my niece the information and allowing me to have my niece on. I can't wait to meet you in person, Grace.
I know. We got to make it happen soon.
We'll have to make it happen soon. You have to let me know when you're in. Matter of fact, do me a favor, and next time you're in Indianapolis, make sure you let me know, and I'll see if I can run up there. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, I'm a end the stream right now. Everybody, thank you, appreciate you. Gridiron Beauties gave you much props.
Thank you.
And he said my two favorite athletes. Now, what are your brothers going to say?
I don't know. I'm the favorite. So
you're the favorite. Well, you're the only girl, so you're the favorite. You should be the favorite, right? Because you're the only girl. Anyway, I'm ending. Thank y'all, everybody. Y'all have a good night. We'll see y'all next week.